Dr. Evangelia Amiridou, who originally comes from Kozani, Greece, is an associate professor of church history in the Faculty of Theology of the Aristotle University in Thessaloniki, Greece. She studied theology at the Aristotle University, where she took a degree in history, and she has also continued her studies at the University of Vienna. She earned her PhD, though, from the University of Thessaloniki. She was appointed as a research assistant, then followed by a lecturer, finally as an assistant professor, and now since 2012, she has held the title of associate professor in the School of Theology. Her area of interest and teaching is in the history of Christianity or in church history, and her area of specialization is specifically in the period before the Great Schism. She has published widely in the area of lives of saints. Most particularly, she's worked on the life of the Empress Theophano, and she has also produced a book on the history of interpretation of the Revelation 13:18, which is the famous passage in Revelation of the number 666. Professor Amiridou, we welcome you to Holy Cross, and please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Thank you, Tim. This is the very first time I will try to express my thoughts in English, and I don't know English. So this is the moment I push my limits and you show compassion to me. I like to point out some thoughts for the beginning of the title of this session. So I marked 3 points to speak out. The first one is about divine compassion. The second one about our spiritual tradition. And the third one, women in our spiritual tradition. I like to play with words, so I begin with a word play. The word compassion to me, especially the prefix con in this word, points out 2 things. One, the existence of more than one, and second, the interaction between of them. In our case, divine compassion means God and human beings in an interaction. One level in this interaction is that God is love, acts in love, with love. And then we have human beings. They are free, with free will, either in the same way, and then we have no problem, or to react in a different way. So, if they react in the same way, with love, no problem. But if they don't react in the same way, then there is a reason, basis for the divine compassion. Because, first, we know that He loves us. So, we push the limits we have for us given His love, and then we react with our way, and then ask for Him for understanding or forgiveness, tolerance, mercy. So we ask divine compassion. Second level in this action of love from God. I think it's my personal thesis that when we love someone, we do things for him, or more important for me, we don't things for him, and we don't ask things for him he doesn't like to give us. So, God proves His compassion with us by not demanding for us, don't asking from us things we are not able to do. This is the most important or most beautiful piece from St. John Chrysostomos, from his second homily to Eutropius. John Chrysostomos says, God knows that we are not able for everything, so He let us free to choose every path we need in order to show this path our path to salvation. So we can be virgin. If it is too hard for us, we can be married. If this also can be so hard for us, we can pray. If pray is difficult, then we can do philanthropy. If that also is difficult, we can be the sun. If be sun is difficult, we can be a star, a big one, little one. But let us to bring our path in this way to the salvation. So, in my way, God gives us love, the maximum, and through our reaction to Him, we asked for the very least, His compassion. So I go to the next point, to the spiritual tradition. Another play with words. A tradition to me means that someone gives to another something. What is that? Is the giving for our attitude of thinking or of our attitude to live. So there was an experience, and someone likes to imitate that experience, and this repetition of the imitation creates an example, and this is an example to follow. So, example to follow in the living or the thinking. The perfect example we have in our tradition are the saints in our Christian life. What saint means, the definition of the word. The word saint exists in Old Testament as with the word kadosh, and the word points out that someone is separate from the profanes, is purified from the sin, and he is participating in the justice of the God. You can see that in Isaiah 6.3. In New Testament, this is very interesting, all Christians called Agi, no exception. And every Christian is Agios, saint. Christians are saint, and they're named as the new saint people who became saint through the baptism, and they are invited in the saint life, which is to experience the sanctified of the God. We have the tradition because we imitate God's thinking and acting. So everyone who imitates God is worthy for respect and honor. And then, in our tradition, Agios, saint, is the one who is worthy for respect and honor. The important thing is that in ancient Greek, we don't have the word agios. No in tragics, no in nomer, no everywhere, but we have the verb agizo. And the verb agizo means that I prepare something to offer to the God. And after that, everything what is through this action for preparing for the God, this is something who calls with other names, but not with agios. So, we have our tradition with our saints. The saints we know, they are not all the saints we have, that's certain. So there are so many unknown saints, and there are some non-existing saints. We all know that by copying manuscripts, there are some names misreading, and we honored non-existing saints. But God knows our will, so this is not a problem. How is the way to have a saint? The usual way for someone to be honored as saint is that one person of his environment at the beginning wrote his vita, or sometimes an akoluthia. And then he chose a specific day to honor him. If he was fortunate, the topic Synaxarium has accepted his vita, and then the Synaxarium of the whole church. So, it was some time in 11th century, it was a big combat between people that they said there is no place for new saints. Saints was only in the 1st century, and that was told for the Simeon, the Neos Theologos, because he honored too much his teacher, and he wrote his vita, and he was expelled for some time. So this is not always easy to go to the family of saints. So this is that proves also many things. Let's go now to the lives of saints. For me, what I find interesting in the first place is that God became human in a very humble way, or common way, to be really close with us, without any gap between us and Him. But humans, when we like to honor someone, maybe because we need some heroes, we write about him things that are too far away from our human mentality or our human abilities. So we made him heroes, but hero, according to the word, is someone who's half divine, half God. So sometimes the lives of saints are so difficult to follow, so this is not an easy example for us. But we stay with the things are very, very creative for our life and our respect. With the exception of the martyrs, sainthood in general must be invisible, a hidden quality. So it is certain that you win your sanctity, your sainthood, only the moment of the death, because you can have a very good life for many, many years, and as our colleague Pateras Irenaeus always said, in the very moment of the death, you can say, finally, I won sanctity, and it is the moment you put it away, or reverse. So, sainthood is something invisible, something, a quality which is hidden. So, many may have it, but it is not known, it's not to see. It is known from this kind of life only the things that are not forgotten. Alithia is, this is not forgotten. So, but we don't forget the rare things, the exceptional things, and the very known things. So this is the way I like to say that there are too many saints because they are not known, not exceptional, not rare. We don't, no one had passing through to see them and to give us information about them. That is that someone is there, but is invisible. So this is the reason that the most important prayer in the funeral commemoration is the Aeoniae Mnimi. That means that maybe I don't know who you are, but I hope that God, who is everlasting, He has you in His memory. So this is what I think it is very crucial. So we have so many examples for saints, but there are too many saints unknown. When it comes to women, in our spiritual tradition, I may be wrong, but I never understood the existence of men and women as a division, a separation. For me, it was always a diversity, a variation. In this point, the question we ask normally is, has the woman place in the spiritual tradition? The answer, the simple answer, but the very first to me is, but we have Jesus Christ through Virgin Mary. And even the apostles honored much Virgin Mary. So if we have Christ through Virgin Mary, there is no place for such a question if a woman has a place in a spiritual tradition. What is fact in all that? That there is a larger number of men saints known. And as Father Irenaeus always said, is because men wrote men's lives. So there were men, they pay attention to men, and women were as much as invisible. So by comparing numbers, I don't like to do that. I think that is for statistics to do. By comparing numbers, the number of women sent is a brick in the wall. but there is no wall without a brick. By comparing numbers, which is not the right issue to give a model, an example to follow, we understand the historical conditions given to us, but the historical conditions is not only the time, but is also the instrument to correct things or to continue in the right way. For me, it's very obvious, and I don't ask the question if women had a place in spiritual life. And according to St. John Chrysostomos, women also are able to find their way to make it the path for their salvation. I don't torture you much more, so I came now to my final paragraph. And this is also a confessional paragraph. Growing in a small village, I suffered as a little girl because it was a men's world in the village. So women are very discriminated. I became a person strongly against any kind of discrimination. All those years, even in the academical years, I refused to be part in any discriminating initiative, where I don't took a part in women's conferences or so, because I thought that it is another kind of discrimination. But all those months since I was invited to be here in St. Catherine's Vision Conference, I started to think the targets of St. Catherine's Vision. And I think I find my healing path. And I think I chose that my healing path is to use the authority as ministry to make the invisible visible. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amiridou.